Hey everyone, welcome back to another very useful PowerPoint tutorial. In this PowerPoint tutorial, I want to show you one of the newer features in Microsoft PowerPoint, and it has something to do with animation, the 3D animation. And it is a feature that you get in Office 365. It might also appear in other versions of PowerPoint. If you don't see this in your version of Office 365, you might just need to do an update to get the option. So, let's look at 3D animation in PowerPoint. So here, I've got a slide for a Spanish class, and the topic of the presentation is transportation, el transporte. And I'm just gonna click here on the slide number 2. Here we have our first vocabulary word about el transporte. It's an avión, which means an airplane. And so now, I would like to put a picture of an airplane here. To do that, I'm gonna go here to the Insert tab and then Insert Ribbon. And here in the Illustrations group, there it says 3D Models. I'm gonna click that. Now that takes me to an online 3D model search bar. So, I can search through all of these online 3D models. Now, before we do that, I want to show you that instead of clicking here on 3D models, I could have clicked this little drop-down arrow next to that, and I could have uploaded a 3D model from a file on my computer. So, some of you that know how to use 3D modeling programs might be able to import a 3D model that you've created by clicking on this drop-down arrow and choosing from a file. But for me, I'm just gonna choose from online sources. And here, I could browse through different collections of 3D models. But I'm just gonna do a search for the airplane. And it found a few. And I can browse through this to find the one I would like. I'm gonna choose this one here and click Insert. It is inserting the 3D model into my presentation now. Because this is a 3D model, notice what I can do. I can click this tool, this button here in the center, and drag it to adjust the view of this airplane. Okay. So, how do I want it to look for the people that are watching this presentation? Kind of like the look of that right there. Just like you would expect, you can rotate the 3D animation. Just use this circular arrow, just like that. You can also make it bigger and make it smaller using the handles in the corners. I'm gonna keep it about that size there. And I'm gonna drag the airplane to the center of the screen. Notice that just as you do with images, you get a little line, a guide that appears to help you know that it is in the center of the screen. And I'll just drop it right there. Next, I'm gonna go here to the Animations tab and over here in the Advanced Animation group. And you'll see that there's an option to add animation. So I'll click that. And for me, this is easiest when I have the animation pane open. So I'm just gonna go over here and click the animation pane to open that up. Now with the animation pane open, and also with my airplane selected, I'm just gonna go up here and click Add Animation. And you'll see that there are several different kinds of animations. There are also different scenes. And you can delve into this quite a bit and have a scene number 1, 2, 3, and 4. There are also 3D animations. There are entrance animations and emphasis animations. Now, if I browse down a little bit, you'll see that there are more emphasis animations. And there are also exit animations and motion paths. Now, all of these are very exciting in this tutorial, though I want to focus on just a couple of them, and if there's interest, I'll do another tutorial. Looking at all of the animation options, so here, I want to create a 3D animation for arriving. This is an entrance animation, where a 3D model rotates and fades into view. Let's try that. So I click Arrive, and it adds that animation here. So what we have here in the animation pane is, we have scene number 1, this icon of a person running that indicates scene 1. And as part of scene 1, I have this entrance animation. But look, it says on click. So let's try this. I just clicked on slide number 1, and now I'm going to go down and click the slideshow button. So I clicked it here, slide number 1, here's slide number 2. Now if I click, look, my animation happens. And so, that is not exactly what I was hoping for. I didn't want it to be triggered by a click. So let's fix that. I'll just go up here, and instead of having it say start and click, I'll change that to start with previous. So now, that should work. It's gonna start with previous, and what is previous? It's the beginning of scene number 1. So that should work for me very well. Now, if I want to make sure it will work, I could even just say, move earlier, and that animation would play even before scene number 1. I don't think that's necessary. Let's try it out. If I start the presentation, look, there it is, animated, right? Now, that's with my 3D animation first. What if it's second but part of scene 1, and it's animated with the previous? It works as well that way. So either way, that should work. Okay, so this is looking great so far. I am really happy with how this looks. Now, notice if I want to, I can change the duration of the animation. I could make it slowly turn and face the viewer, and I make a little slower by changing it to 2 seconds. Also, you can put in some delays if you want. I'm not going to do that in this case. Alright, next, I would like to add another animation. So here on the Animations tab, in the Advanced Animation group, I'll click Add Animation, and I'm going to use another 3D animation. This time, the leaf animation. So I selected that, and it adds it to my list here of animations. Let's look now at all of my animations in order. So I'll click here at the very top of my animations and click play from. Here it comes into another screen, and now it fades away. The leaf animation made it kind of fade away to the side. So I want to change some of the things about that animation. First of all, I am happy that this next one is on click. I want my students to be able to look at the animation, to look at the word for it on avion, and think about it for a minute. I don't want the airplane just to fly away immediately. I want it to wait until I click. So that's good. But if I click on that animation, I get some options up here that are effective, and I'll click that right now. It is set to leave to the right. You probably noticed that it kind of turned to the right a little bit as it disappeared. I would like it to rotate down. Okay, like that. That looks good. Also, in the effect options, I can choose to make the intensity of the animation subtle, where it just barely animates and rotates down, or I can make it moderate, which is what it was, I think, or strong. I'm gonna go with strong. And then finally, where's the rotation axis is? It is the view center of the object center. And I don't know about you, but to my eye, that didn't change a whole lot in this case. Okay, I'm almost done with this awesome animation. What I'd like to do next is add one more animation. So I click Add Animation. This time, I'm not going to use one of the 3D animations. Rather, I'll use a motion path. So I'll click this line motion path, and automatically, that's what it does. It makes the airplane move down a little bit down the screen. Now, if you look closely to the airplane, you'll see that there's an arrow that has appeared. If I drag that down, it makes it so the airplane will make its way further down to the slide, right? That's the distance that it's going to travel in my lion animation. Now, before we try this, there's one more change. I want to make here, with this lion animation, I'm gonna click and make it so it doesn't start on click, but rather it starts on the previous. So if you look at the previous animation, it started with click. So when the teacher clicks or advances the slides, what's gonna happen is the model will leave, which will make it face down, and it will also move along this line out of the slide. So let's try it out. I'm gonna go back to my title slide and start the presentation. There's slide number 1. I advance to the next slide. Here comes the airplane. As the teacher, I can talk about this. Esto es un avión. So we can discuss it. We can talk about it, think about it, and when I'm ready, I can advance the presentation either by clicking using a presenter remote or using the keys on the keyboard. And the airplane flies away. So really, we've looked at a couple of things. We've looked at how to insert 3D models here on the Insert tab, Illustrations group. There's the 3D Models button. And then we also looked at 3D animations that when you click on 3D object and go to Animations tab and add animations, you should see 3D animations there. So I'm excited about these 3D options in PowerPoint. I think they're fantastic. And thanks for watching. I hope you found this tutorial to be helpful. If you did, please click the like button below and consider subscribing to my YouTube channel for more videos about software tutorials. And when you do subscribe, please consider clicking the bell next to the subscribe button. By doing that, you'll be notified whenever I upload another video. If you like to support my YouTube channel, please consider becoming a supporter of mine by using that super thanks button. And that would mean a lot to me. Thanks again. Peace.